Starting the recording now. Oh, all right. Welcome to my caster tier list. I am just lowering the music for stream because I am doing this live on Twitch. Yeah. So this is probably gonna have a lot of entries in here and here. I'm going to try and limit this as much as possible because some of the servants here, like, it's pretty obvious where they are going to go. For some of the other ones, they might have to get placed less because of how good they are. So let's, again, even for myself, go over the rules for the tier list. All the servants are being compared to each other on the list directly. Certain super meta servants I might mention, like their counterparts. They're not being compared directly, but I might mention their counterparts. MP1 for gotcha servants. MP5 if welfare or free to play, which there's one or two. No, there's actually a couple free to play casters. Yeah, I know like three off the top of my head. Max out skills, max mana loading. This is so like loopers have the best chance they have. Even if you have to like bond point the crap out of them to be able to even do it, it's at least possible at that level. We're using George's list. This isn't everything, but this is going to be the most common requirements for people. Like, it's not saying double ruler Skadi Oberon, because like you don't need Oberon for most quick farming. You don't need Oberon for most arts farming. That's why it's not listed here. But for like buster farming with 30% battery servants like Ivan, they definitely do need the attack buff. I mean, they need Oberon, so that's why he's listed here. C's that are at level 100. Just because this is what Jord has. So EX, what they do extremely well, or something only they can do, but it's not too niche. They do something better than a higher rarity servant in A tier. A very good servant. Okay, so this one specifically, I think for casters, and this isn't the support casters, this is actual casters. I think a lot of people already know who this is, because they are very, very famous for being like the best and easiest to pull off arts farming for an AoE caster. A tier, very good servants, but has servants that can do it better. B, replaceable servants, fulfills this very specific niche that is very possible, not caster Gil. Replaceable servants fills a certain niche that is very populated. Usable servants, not the best, not the worst, and usually need buffs. Uphill battle using this servant, extremely niche. They do one very specific thing extremely well, no other servant can do. I bring up Phantom of the Opera here, but there have been multiple other servants that fit this requirement. Riders, especially, they definitely had a lot of servants that were in here. And then Don't Use It All, clunky, needs buffs, confused kit. I think one servant is going here. I can think of one servant that would go here. And yeah, all right, let's get started with Miss part of Miss branding. It wouldn't be Miss unless you knew who this caster was. It's where he got his own title from. Anastasia. I just did the servant as a video, so I'm probably gonna spend less time on this servant than like some of the other ones. Base attack is lower than average. HP is okay. It's not super high to compensate, but it's not the lowest either. Good MP charge. Average across the board. Damage steroid. Charisma. Boss fight. Battery. Boss fight. Boss fight. Boss fight. Awesome that she has this. Boss fight again. Here for easier looping. NP, AoE arts. Damage to all enemies. Seals their skills. Reduces their defense. This is not a farmer. This is a looper. I bring this up like in videos kind of often. Like the difference for me between a looper and a farmer is a looper can refund to 100%, but you're going uphill battle. Farmers are literally meant to be farming. That's what their kit is best suited for. Think Artoria. Think. I don't want to bring up any casters for spoiler alerts. Jarcher is a farmer, not a looper. But you can't like they're somewhat interchangeable, but like one is like more catered towards like harder stuff, and then the other is just you use the servant to like farm for mats. Hence farmer. So of the AoE casters, she hits the lowest. But here's the caveat. She's meant for boss fights. She's meant for the hard stuff. The direct comparison here I'm making is specifically to Scheherazade and Murasaki. I don't want to compare the 4 stars to her. Although one of them is a notable exception. You can kind of see it here. Not going to point it out right now. But yeah, MP1, little disappointing. But most of her debuffs happen. Her big debuff, like here, happens before damage, which is part of the issue. If she ever got a buffed MP, and this procced first, her damage would literally explode because she's getting higher scaling. Caster AoE. Yeah. Like, she is hitting harder than Scheherazade, or she would hit harder than Scheherazade easily, who already has a buffed MP. Murasaki has a damage mod when she's looping. That's very common when she's looping. Like, with a buffed MP, Anastasia, I don't think is going to hit Murasaki damage when she's fighting demonic. But she should jump up to at least, I want to say 28,000. Like, that's, yeah, 20,000 with just a buffed MP. And if they give her defense down, she should jump to like around 32,000-ish. And if she's applying that first, that just kind of makes her looping a lot easier. But we're talking about MP1 here, not MP2, and not theoretical buffs. It's one of these two. Definitely one of these two. She's not bad. She's not a bad servant. It's just there are a lot of AoE arts. She's the most applicable one. She kind of does everything. Yeah. So she's here because she does everything. But there's nothing she specifically exceeds in except like putting debuffs on people. That's her niche, like debuffing the shit out of the enemy. Like for damage purposes. I know Murasaki also does the debuffs, but that's more mitigation. I like she's just lacking. It's mostly because she hasn't got a buff yet. Well, I think all the other ones have. I'm not 100% on Murasaki. I feel like she did get a buff. No, actually, Murasaki probably hasn't gotten a buff either. Yeah. So she's here. This is something that's easily gonna move around. is literally because she's like the first one. I probably will move her up. But yeah. Okay, so unlike Lancer, I'm not making a separate tier for her. She's just an EX. Yeah, I know. That's just crazy. However, unlike Lancers with Melisande, I'm not giving her her own tier. She does all this stuff. No one really cares about it. She's good up here. Block or not block, you can choose how you want to charge the party. Very high arts buff that lasts for a while. MP gain. She literally enables arts looping. Her MP stops you from taking damage and cleanse and a attack buff. And depending on how you play around with this, you literally won't take damage. Okay, my only question is, does she have... Okay, real quick. Does she have a different Valentine's Day? Like, I don't think it's gonna say here. But does she have 2 separate Valentine's Day, like, depending on if you did Avalon or not? I'm not sure about that. I would assume she would, because her dialogue is very different. Or it should be very different from Lost Spell Castoria, the one we summon right now. But yeah, she's EX. I don't think anyone is gonna think I'm breaking the mold on that. I think that's pretty standard. Like, she's referred to as one of the best characters, if not the best in the game. All right. And I close this out. Awesome. Let's go. All right. Next one. Fun one. Where are you? Charlotte. She comes out this year, and she's on the same banner as Saber Okita. Or Saber Okitan. So, base attack. Low. This is very, very low. HP. Kind of to compensate, but this isn't doing that much. Her outfit, though. She looks clean. No, yeah, same event, but she's on a different banner. Say and Kindness are on Summer Commas banner. Hit count pretty much the same as Castoria's. Like, actually, like, they just made her extra attack worse. So same gains as Castoria pretty much. But just like a little bit lower because lower arts and charge. 30% arts for 3 turns. We like that. And then granting confusion. 30% chance for enemy to get skill sealed. It is important that she has this. It's part of her gimmick. And then party-wide, 1 attack, 1 turn. Little awkward. Ain't going cap. This is a little awkward because you can use this to save yourself from an MP, but it also like helps enable her damage. So this is just like, don't take damage for an attack. Even better if you pop this when it is AoE MP, but this is just like a little bonus. Second skill is the guaranteed skill seal, stars per turn, and party MP damage for 20% for 3 turns. So you can use her in multi-core farming. That's probably where you'll see a lot of her use, especially in like the harder stuff like 90 plus. 30% for herself, and then 30% that you can choose who it goes to. So very versatile. Helps with if you need to do, again, multi-core farming, 90 plus, 90 plus plus. Ruler Vinci. Yeah, so arts performance, arts crit damage, like very similar to what Castoria says. So little comparison, only 2 face guarding. I'm not saying they're anywhere near each other. I'm just saying they have similar passives and similar upstairs. It is very important that she has this, and it's really cool that she has this because she's a caster, and her quick card's okay, but she's like able to gen like a little bit of stars more than she normally would. Extra attack if you can get to it, but again, like single target, not AoE, and then like you want her to be doing damage, so this will help refund. NP, damage to one enemy, 5 hits, 20 stars dropped immediately, and then if they are skill sealed, you get a damage mod. Her kit is easily enabled, especially depending on who you're pairing with her. Like Vitra is putting skill seal on her MP. So if there's trash ads, Vitra, Charlotte right after, you do like a lot more damage. Or she can put it on her own skills. She can do this for boss fights. She is solid. Oh yeah, and then her Bonsi is this. So any servant that has skill seal, like it will make their follow-up cards better because skill seal does not apply first. So servants that have skill seal on their MP like Vitra like aren't gonna get benefits on the MP, but they will get it from following face cards, which Vitra is very good for that. Her like cards hit very, very hard because of her base attack. She is solid. She's solid. She can't have 100. It's hard to have 100% uptime on all her skills, but it's not. It's possible. It just depends on who you're running with her. Like if you run Tamamo with her, real quick. Yeah, it's not like these cooldowns are like ridiculously high. You could probably have like only a turn of downtime where you don't have confusion possibly proccing, and like by then you're also gonna get this back with Tamamo cooldown reduction. So you can lean into it. It is a niche you can do. It's not the easiest thing, but it is something you can do. Next, Circe. How are they saying the pronunciation? Because they fix it with Kairon. They don't say it. Just Caster of Okeanos. Base attack, and this is going to be the trend with casters. Base attack is lower than the average. HP is a little higher to compensate. Base card gains is horrendous. It is bad. This is the okay. So her hit count and her gains are similar to Gilgamesh or Tamamo, but just worse. Just way worse because she has less hits. She would need 5 hits on these to like be better gains, but she doesn't. And she's not Zenobia, so she's not critting on these. So she is a buster servant that is heavily reliant on arts chains to get refund. Sounds familiar, like Abigail. I mean, like, obviously she's a little different, and Abigail's gains are way worse. But Buster Servant heavily reliant on arch chains for refund. That's not the best look. First skill, 120% battery, so it doesn't really matter. It just depends on what CE you run. If you run a K-scope and have mana loading like fully unlocked, you can do MPs back to back. In which case, like refund, it kind of doesn't matter if you just blow someone up. Poison, reduce their defense. Sargen, and cleanse. So nothing here for MP gain. This skill probably should be buffed to like also give MP gain. Probably would help her out a lot. She doesn't really have a damage mod to poison, or like increasing the poison damage. Hearts cards aren't as bad as they look on paper, but they're still not great. And I'm saying this from personal experience. It is not like I don't have Circe. No, she's MP5, and I'm saying this, that her refund is not great. And yeah, that's also the other thing. This is 120%. You're probably not leveling this all the way, especially if it's only MP1. There's literally no point to go past 8 because it doesn't matter. You'd be doing it for a cooldown for a skill and a servant that you might not get higher copies of. Yeah. Like, you'd only level this if you had MP2 or higher. MP has been buffed. Damage to one enemy, Pigify for 1 turn, and removes their offensive buffs with crit attack chance down. This is a lower number, but here's the thing. They've been making a lot of servants immune to Pigify. This was a special stun that just couldn't be bypassed. They pretty much nerfed her. They nerfed her for, like, I guess lore reasons, but like this is like why. She had a special thing that, like, you could only be countered by, like, it. I'm just confused why they felt the need to nerf Circe. I don't think she was breaking the mold unless they're doing something with Pigify later. It's just like why are you doing this? She is single target buster. She can go 0 to 100 real quick, so you can use Black Rail. Let's go. So single target. Oh yeah, and here's Charlotte's damage, which is pretty good because it's counter damage mod. Right. Sanzang. Yeah, so she does not hit nearly as hard as Sanzang. They both can use Black Rail though, so that is a good thing. Shuten is here though. She is one of the lower hitting. She is one of the lower hitting casters on here. Like, even Shuten at MP1 would hit harder. And then Shuten also has a damage mod on top of that. Yeah. She's really there for, like, you get 1 turn and then hope she kills. Especially at MP1, it's really hard to use this servant. Especially if you have the option to use, like, Shuten-Douji caster. If you have her, you're probably never going to use Circe. Unless it's just for the kill 1 thing. So 90 plus, she has a use, but outside of that, you're not going to see much from her. I like her story though, especially like the character growth that she showed, but she's not particularly good. All right, next one, Da Vinci. Or no, this isn't Da Vinci. This is Da Vinci. Da Vinci is small one. Oh, that actually shows a different one. All right. Our favorite miser, the one that steals all our shit and profits. Attack lower than average. HP a little higher than average. They're not super high. MP charge low, 0.54, so like Castoria. Probably less gains. Yeah, the Buster, who cares though? Extra is low. Quick is decent. First skill, Guts. Chance-based MP damage, 30%. Chance-based defense. Debuff immune for 2 turns. Heal 1,000 each turn for 3 turns. Battery each turn. Arts performance to the party. 20% for 3 turns. I believe she gets this, like, soon. Yeah, she gets this next event, actually. 50% battery, ignores invul, and drops 10 stars. Sucks this isn't guaranteed. Kind of annoying. Yeah, so territory creation and item construction, like, this makes sense, but she doesn't really have debuffs in her kit. Yeah, not from her skills, at least. Alright. So, MP, 1-hit AoE, ignores defense to all enemies, reduces her crit attack chance by 30% for 3 turns, and high MP damage scaling on her MP. Like, base 30 to 70. It's not the highest, like Musashi's is like 30 to 90, but it's still high. Yeah, she's AoE, but she's definitely not a looper or a farmer. If you're able to brute force farm with Da Vinci, holy fucking shit, is your account stacked. Holy shit, if you're, like, actually a Giga Chad and brute forcing it. And to be fair, out of all of the 1-hit arts AoEs, she probably is the one that pulls it off the best because she has a 50% battery and the refund every turn. I'm not saying she's, like, amazing at it, but at least it's to compensate for her, like, having to do it against assassins who have the lowest refund. It will be really funny. Yeah, Da Vinci's is not on here for a very, very good reason. The damage is probably horrendous if she can actually do it. I wouldn't be surprised if she can do it, but it's probably not good. So this is our single target numbers. Da Vinci, when she gets her mod, the MP damage is here. So she is hitting low. She's hitting about the same as Circe or Queen Sheba, but it's also AoE. Yeah, I can't really speak that much about using Da Vinci in a real boss fight situation. Like, she does have everything you'd want for a boss fight. It's just, like, I would rather use a single target than Da Vinci. Like, I'm definitely heavily biased on this, but she does have the combo, invul, defense pierce. This is a very high number for crit attack chance down. Especially since you are fighting assassins, so they're pretty much not critting you. He's not going to get debuffed by them. It's the 1-hit AoE. It's the 1-hit AoE. Biased and unfortunate. I'm saying this as unfortunately. I have very much experience with MP1 Daiko. I say unfortunate because I was summoning on her banner to get her more than MP1. And that didn't happen, and I have Bunny and MP4 now. Rate up is a lie. Lasagna just watches us suffer. It's secretly run by Karen, Kire, and Da Vinci. They're all in it together. Alright. So, Daiko. I truly do love this character, but I have to not be biased. But luckily, I don't have to be that biased, honestly. Low base attack, but what else is new with casters? HP to compensate. MP charge at 0.55 as a quick unit. Don't worry about that, though. Do not worry about it. Hit count looks average on arts, really good on quick. She does, I think, have lower Sargent than base casters. I think the base is 11, yeah. But it also kind of doesn't matter because she's AoE quick. The Sargent here kind of doesn't matter. 30% quick, stars every turn, 10, heal every turn for the party. 30% battery, charges party's battery 10% every turn, so she does have the wombo combo. You do want her append, and she's also set up for quick looping that she does not need to hit the full 50% threshold. She just needs to hit 40. Similar to what Voyager does, but she has it way easier for refund than Voyager. Way easier, even though she's best against assassins. She is in a much better space looping wise. One attack every for 3 turns gets dodged. 30% MP gen for the party. So like Castoria, she has the trifecta: battery, quick buff, MP gain, everything a quick servant, a modern loop farming / looping quick servant has. Very weak territory creation, debuff success rate 4%, low divinity. And as you can see, nowhere upstairs does she have debuffs. Until we get to here. 9 hit. Quick AoE. Quick res down for 1 turn. Procs first, so works specifically well with farming. Damage mod against Earth attribute, which is one of the most common, and ups party crit damage by 20% for 3 turns. She is set up to be a looper and a farmer. She has literally everything. Like, crit damage, kind of weak, but you're going to be using her with OG Skadi, so is that really the biggest issue? Daiko can use Black Grail to farm. And 3 Skadis loops 2 waves of enemy on all classes. This is MP1 Daiko. MP1. And it is really funny here that she is there's not that much of a difference between using 2004 and Plug Suit. So just know this damage goes way, way, way higher with Oberon. Way higher. Will she be able to loop against 2 enemy waves of all class? Probably not. But she's a quick servant that can do Black Rail farming with 2 Skadis. Give me a sec. Okay, hold up. Yeah, okay, so she is the only AoE quick caster. She's the only one. There is no other. And she's has literally everything. She's not ramping up. The only thing she's missing is ramp up, but no quick AoE has actual ramp up. They get quick performance buff for 1 turn, or maybe they ramp up like MP damage. They don't ramp up quick. They don't ramp up MP gain. Not unless they got buffed to do that. Or weren't intended. Like, this is I don't want this to be like my quick bias is showing. I really don't want it to be like my quick bias is showing, but like it kind of is. I really think she can be up here. Yeah, like her biggest weakness is definitely the low damage, but like MP1 is the same as Sieg and not that much off Nitocris or Helena. Like she's comparable, and she gets a damage mod, which most of these other ones don't have. Yeah, okay, A, because if you are not running her with Black Girl, the damage is definitely not gonna. It's definitely not gonna be impressive at MP1. Yeah. If you have more copies, she's in EX, but this is MP1. I gotta be fair. Man, that hurt. That honestly hurt. I really like this character, chat. Alright, Edison. Alright, man is story locked. President of the United States. Drawn by Paco. Very similar hit counts, average across the board, which is actually impressive considering he was a year one servant. His MB gain looks about the same. Base attack is super low. Almost 12k HP. Also low-ish. Skill buff, target roll defense up, and then reduce skill cooldown. Stars per turn. Charges party's bat. MP gauge every turn. MP damage for 5 turns. Overcharges their MP 1 stage for 1 turn. Ups their crit star gen. Small territory creation, item construction. Okay, so I don't want to say he's like basically lower tier Da Vinci because he's not. He's way more of a support than Da Vinci is. Da Vinci is built like a DPS, but doesn't have the MP to go with it. He is like built as a support and has like just AoE. Like he can clear a wave if you make him, but he's better in esports. But he's not like solely esports. Right? I feel like he should be a niche. Because this is lackluster. He shouldn't be summoning for his MP, it's his skills. And you have a lot of versatility with this. Like esports, you're reducing cooldown, which might make a difference depending on the servant. Because like Vich doesn't let you, like if the skill cooldown is more than 7, you're not getting it back unless you use Atlas Mystic Code. So he might, in certain setups, he might allow for the double stacking to work with Oberon on the last turn. So yeah, he's gonna be here for esports reasons. Caster Ellie. Is this first welfare? I think Caster Ellie is first welfare. I would not be surprised if she is the first welfare. High MP charge, and this is dog shit. Like casters with one hits on their NPs. I mean, their one hit on their arts cards are just like their refund is shit. It's not good. Base attack is low too. HP is low-ish too. 12 stars and you heal. Buster performance that isn't even 50% and then burns all enemies. I guess it's cool if you're using Honey Lake. I guess. And it is a long duration, so if you do have Honey Lake, you're set. You don't need the command codes, but you should not run her with Honey Lake. At least this isn't Saber Liz though. This buff actually makes sense. Guts for 1 time 5 turns, 30% battery, burn rate, burn damage up. So this weak burn is a little more. If you're adding more burns, they will all do more. It's not great, but it is something. She technically can do Buster farming. She technically can do it. She has a 30% battery, AoE, and Buster buff. Is she good at it, though? She's not even on here. So I think that might have been oversight. Or he just doesn't want to show it. Let's see. Okay, so how is she hitting that weak though? Wait, what? This is with her Buster buff. At MP1, how are you hitting 12,000 with a 45% Buster buff? What? This has to... Alright, that's probably why... That is probably why Liz isn't even on here. Because her Buster farming is probably at the same level as Q-Caster with, like... Without using a Black Rail on him. Yeah, it's probably around this. Even with double Vitch Oberon, her damage is probably around here. Yeah. So it's definitely somewhere in between here and here, which is big, like a big giant gap. I'm not gonna lie. On it, like here and here is probably a closer one. It's not like we don't have coins for her. Yeah, she can do it. I'm not gonna be mean and say don't use. She can at least do Buster farming, which is something. It's good she can do it on assassins because assassins have a worse refund. So like like Buster farming on them is you're not worried about randomness. It's just is her damage actually gonna be there? Yeah, I think this is just a thing where like no one wants to actually like give this Liz Grails to find out. If you have her, she can do it when she gets her buff this year, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. Not when the giant elephant in the room, Kucaster, who I did do it. He's not on this tier list, but he was on the low star tier list. Like look at this damage. Like if you are going to choose a free to play, but this is also MP5. If you're going to choose a free to play, you probably still should use Kucaster, even if his damage is lower than what it says here. It shouldn't be that much lower. And just look at this shit. Liz can't do Black Rail, and you have the option between her and Kucaster. I think most people are still gonna choose Kucaster. So she's here because I'm not directly comparing her to Kukasser. Otherwise, like if I was to do that, then like Nero would get pushed down from where she would be. All right, Caskill. He makes arts cards go brrrr, just like machine gun. Brrrr, start dropping stars like crazy. Base attack low. No, I'm just, you know what? I'm just gonna stop commenting about it now because they're all low, all of them. HP is here. MP charge low for face cards and horrendous for MP. Just like Summer Valks, because he has so many hits. And it's worse than Summer Valks, because Summer Valks are fighting riders. He's fighting assassins. So literally everything is against this man for arts looping. Everything. He needs Bargus. He cannot Black Rail. I would say, though, if you have Oberon to use, you might be able to get away with using Oberon and Black Rail. Maybe. I think the 70% battery might be enough, but again, that's asking too much. We're gonna stick with here. And even like for his like placement, it might not even matter. So 100% star gen for the entire party. This guarantees all arts cards are going to drop stars. So the higher the hits, the more they're gonna drop stars, which art servants don't do. They're not naturally built toward crits unless you force them to. 21% charisma, good. But basic, this needs to get buffed. Arts buff, debuff success rate. I mean, yeah, debuff success rate. Arts territorial creation, debuff success rate here. So he has like 40% debuff success rate. He's like, yes, he does have it here. All right. He does not have a battery. If you plan to try to brute force to black railing, or not black railing, black rail farming, you are going to want this because you want to start with as high as you can as possible. Know what? I'm thinking about this right now, and it's like, I don't even think he can do it with Oberon. I don't think he can do black rail farming because you're gonna have to use up all the Castoria stuff on turn 1, unless this is leveled, and even then you're still using all of it on turn 1. Yeah, this okay. Well, wait a second. Yeah, this is him with an MP gain CE and 2004. He needs both of these. Yeah, no. You can make him do this. The damage is just not gonna be great, but yeah, if this was just him as a looper, he'd be here, one of these two. But we're not talking about that alone. I gotta go to the bathroom after this. So he has a 10-hit AoE Arts MP. This is why they had to gimp this. They had to. You cannot have... Look at Valkyries. They can loop like 140% if you give them a Black Rail and double Castoria. It is ridiculous how much they can refund, even though their gains are... like their face card gains are barely higher than this. And they still loop amazing. They also have a battery. They have MP gain. All things that Gil is lacking, which is why he needs the Bargus CE. I would not be surprised if they decide to buff Caskill and give him like MP gain or a battery on this skill. If they do, I would not be surprised. Because like he's missing that from OG Gil, but he does have the parties started in. So there are ways they can buff his skills. if they want to. Party defense up 20% for 3 turns. Party crit damage up 30% for 3 turns. And reduces enemies' defense. Needless to say, his primary role is not a farmer. You bring him to a boss fight so art servants can pop off. Usually more in esports, it's debatable whether his MP is actually even going to need to go off or not. If it does, cool. If it doesn't, it's whatever. But I mean, party crit damage is very good if you're trying to do an arts crit team. And this is MP damage while he's on the field, which, again, good for esports. Yeah, like, right now, I'm using him right now for the Bittersweet Bitter Shadows. And my god, does he, like, let the art servants, like, pop off. Like, if you're doing that stuff, like, Caskill is, like, a very, very strong servant to have for that. So yeah, he is the first of the arts crit supports. Very good especially if it's an arts AoE. But if they're single target, it's literally just as good. They will gen stars for their multi-hit arts MP. Like Dio Scurry with like this shit. You're gonna have like your MP is gonna be like fully refunded. B, now their arts cards are dropping even more stars, so their follow-up crits are gonna be way more likely to actually hit. He's versatile. He's very, very versatile in what you need to do. But his skills are still basic, and they haven't. But like his MP gain is still gimped. It is still not great. He like buff charisma or buff the star gen, and he's here easily. But I kind of have to put him here. I definitely can't put him here. I could see putting him in A, but I think B is the safest spot for him. All right, I'm going to the bathroom real quick. All right, yeah. All right, back already. Set let the dogs out. All right. Helena is here for this like a very similar reason as Casco. They are fairly similar in like what you want from them. Like Helena has, again, she is very useful in Bittersweet. Attack. Yeah, I said I'd stop talking about this. MB gain about the same as Casco. Yeah, they should be about equal. First skill. Also, she has a really good quick card. First skill, 20% battery to the party. Good. She is going to get this buff very, very soon on NA. In 2 months. And it gives her basically a 50% battery. This part, though, is very weak. I don't know why they only gave her the battery. They should have buffed these up too. 5 stars per turn. Every turn for 5 turns is literally nothing. It's at least an 80% activation chance for 50% MP damage, but like when you're trying to do setups and this fails, it feels horrible. Because that happened a couple times with the bittersweet runs. And then Omni card buff to the party, 20%, each card type. So she does work universally with like any servants, but arts in particular for, say, bittersweet. Arts buff, debuff success rate. So she is not an art, even though she has a 3-hit arts MP and like not the worst gains, but still not good. I don't. Is she on this list? No. I'm actually a little surprised by that. She probably should be able to do Ocean Flyer. I don't see why she wouldn't be able to do Ocean Flyer. I think people just like see her as a support a little too much. Her MP is like very debuff heavy. Yeah, get this if you actually do want her to do the farming. Oh yeah, they reduced the cooldown by 2. Okay, that's probably why they didn't touch this. Yeah. Like if it was on an 8 turn and went down to a 6 with a battery, that I can see why now. Yeah, I think she's still I think she's still good here at B. And it's mostly because it's annoying to, yeah, like here. She needs the MP damage to hit harder than Gil. Her refund is probably probably better. No, probably is better, not like is. Yeah, she's super good if you're a new account starting out and you manage to get spooked by her. Like an AoE 20 and then a 30 for herself is very strong early game. Use K-scope, and she's arts. Yeah, pretty much you'd have to be using K-scope with both of these, which is why damage not shown here because it would be bad. Would be bad. Helena probably you can have more wiggle room in the Gil, but Gil is up here for a reason and not Helena. So probably a reason for that. Yeah. I'm happy with her at B. There are a bunch of AoE arts. And I don't want to put her in extremely niche when she doesn't need to. Illya. Don't use for art. If you do, I wouldn't recommend using her for because a young child in very loose situations, but we're not talking about we're not talking about other non-gameplay reasons. Honestly, her summer outfit is way more sus than this, but Illya is still Illya from Prisma Illya. You can't take that out of her. MB charge, low attack. Because it's a 5-star, I can bring this up. It's lower than average, but not as low as it could be. MB charge is weird. Tamamo or regular Gil. Pretty close to that. Hit counts are okay for MP gain. 5 Buster performance up. She gets a 50% battery later this year, along with MP Gen, so it helps out this base number being low and her having super high hits on her arts card. And then this is like a non-factor. This is for boss fights because she's not a looper. She's a buster farmer or buster looper. Sorry, she's not buster farming. She's a buster looper. Yeah, so 70% chance to grant a guts, and then 70% to add deep immunity. I think Miyu is her support that makes these 100. A gotcha 4-star should not be the support. Wait, is it? Wait, is it Miyu or we'll see in a sec? Yeah, just a little. Is it Leo? I'm pretty sure it's Miyu. Yeah, it's Miyu. Wait, does Chloe also do something too? Chat, I don't use Miyu, Chloe, Illya for kind of obvious reasons. No, okay, so both of them buff up Illya. The fucking course is called Kiss Demon. What's up, Jaguar? Yeah, so Kuro or Miyu, and this is 100%. Well, if you're using them as support, that means you're not using like Vich to support. So yeah, a little awkward there. I don't know why they forced this into the kit. Debuff resist 30% every turn. Yes, there has been. It is in the YouTube playlist. This is up in the air. This is a 20%, so you could start off with like Dark Bitch, but since she's single target, I just want to always say extra attack. And she has a 50%, not a 30, so I'm even less likely to recommend mana loading. I think extra attack would just like benefit you more since you're using it in a boss fight. Buffed MP. MP gen rate. Star gen. Damage to one enemy. Buster performance up. Reduces attack and defense by 10%, but these kind of nothing. We have MP2. I'm Helena MP2 with a costume 111. Yeah, no, I get it. Caster, like the non-meta casters, like they get neglected because you need to get your meta casters up and running so that you can actually do the farming and stuff. I don't blame people that neglect it. Yeah, her MP is Illya's MP is like really good for especially for trying to get to follow-up ones. If you don't cleanse this can be a big problem though. You need which she can stop it one time, but it's chance based. So it really is a support thing with Illya for how well she will actually perform. Omnicard buff here. You know, I got Sanzang, Helena, and Da Vinci. You're talking JP though, right? Should be talking about JP. If you're talking about the costume for Helena. Hey, at least Sanzang you can go 0 to 100 with a black rail. Illya. What about Heaven's Feel? Like any MP damage CE would be helpful. It's just like Black Rail and Heaven's Feel are the most impactful. Oh yeah, if you're free to play, then I don't blame you at all. That's just an unfortunate thing with Gotcha, especially because permanents don't have rate ups. She's definitely not EX because of the quirkiness. She's at least here. Yeah, she hits harder, but Sanzang can use Black Rail, so it's irrelevant. And Sanzang doesn't have the negative. Yeah, like yeah, I might as well do Sanzang after this, but yeah, Illya's A because she works well with the Buster farming system, but she's not. If you had the option between her and Sanzang, this is Sanzang just easier, and you'd be putting up way more damage. And since I'm bringing this up, might as well just go right to Sanzang. All right, so unlike other casters, I can see it after this. So unlike other AoE, also how far are we? Okay, so yeah, that's up twice. Unlike other casters, she actually has like a good base attack. Like this is high, like higher than most other casters. High, like it's at the like slightly above average for all SSRs. HP isn't suffering that much for it. MP charge with a triple arts deck is high, lower hits, but like Merlin, like, and you probably would use her with Merlin. Uh, her refund isn't that bad with these cards. Low-ish hits, but her extra attack makes up for it, and she has the normal, or she has the caster average star gen, and just mighty chains work really well with her. QABs, whatever you want to call it. 80% battery, MP damage up for one turn, but you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it that much because this MP damage is not huge. It is relatively tame, all things considered, at 20% for one turn. It's not the biggest thing. If you're using Black Rail, it matters even less because this just means your MP damage is 100% for one turn. High-ish cooldown, but there are ways to get around it. Skill 3 got buff. Isn't it this year? Is this year, right? Yeah, she's getting it this year. In like 3 months. Taunt, 20%, 1500 damage cut for one turn with the taunt, and charisma on a 5-turn cooldown. So she can do this pretty often if you're using Vich cooldown reduction. 30% MP gen, 30% crit star, and debuffing me for one turn for the entire party. Arts up 11%, makes these better. Jaguar, I'll see. I can see your account after I finish the cheer list. I don't mind looking at it, but I just can't do it right now. You are gonna want this. It'd be ideal if she was MP2 or you just got the bond points like really, really high to get both of these. Because this is good because she's single target, but this literally enables her to do Black Rail farming 0 to 100. Or not farming, but like start a challenge quest off with Black Rail damage. Like really high output. MP is 12 hit, ignores defense, and reduces a crit attack chance for one turn. And it is 80%. You are not getting crit this turn. You should not get crit this turn unless they are roided out of their minds on crit buffs. Jaguar, just know that this is going in a YouTube video. So you're putting it out for everyone. I can purge this if you want. But like, I don't know if I can edit this out of the video. Okay. Yeah, no worries. Got it. All right. 20% buster and defense. Yeah, Sanzang ZX. She has a buffed MP and can use Black Rail form. Black Rail. I don't know if it actually didn't say Illya. Yeah, I don't know why Sanzang isn't even on here. But yeah, she's going in EX because you can literally do it like in 90 plus, you can put a black roll on her and she'll hit like a fucking truck. And then if you need to follow up, she can easily do it. Oh, Irisviel. Yeah, so not touching the stuff. Low-ish MP gain, not the lowest though. Here is below average. Everything else is average. Triple arts. Healing power. 50% up. So we don't have buffs like this, but this is different from healing received. Those are two different buffs. This is how much she will heal, how much bonus healing she will do. And if you have servants that have healing received, they will also they multiply, they're multiplicative. But if a servant has healing received, it's usually from the command code, or you're putting it, they're supposed to be a solo servant, in which case you wouldn't have Irisviel on the field with them. Invul for 1 turn, MP gen 30%. I don't know why this is this selfish. Like this is like this character, this should have been AoE, and this might as well have been AoE too. And that fixes a big problem with her. $3K heal is the last skill. So her skills pretty much just make this a 4.5 heal for on the 1 turn. But her MP also heals. AoE art, territory creation, better arts, debuff resist. There's no way you're even gonna have coins for this, and you probably don't have the bond points to do it either, because I don't know people that are using bond grails on Irisviel. Not the smartest thing. So it's a 3K heal, and grants everyone in the party got 1 turn, 3 turns. I really can't think of any situation that you would use her over I don't know, Tamamo or Asclepius, because they pretty much do this but better. Like, I'm bringing up a 3-star in this, so that's how you know it's bad. The 3-star is also doing something very similar to her. Hold up. Yeah, he gives HP regen, which is like arguably better. And the guts is like already at 3K, not reliant. Yeah, like I get he is story locked, but he also goes on banners like pretty often. His heal is better. Like he just does more. His healing is technically better than her. That's not a good look. That like this isn't a Jason versus Muramasa situation. It's like a 3-star literally power corrupt this welfare. You should. There's no. I can't think of a situation where she is better. Because you're like the healing she does. Like, it's 4,500 to the party. Like, cool, but there are servants that can do that healing easier and don't require a skill to do it. She needs either a rework or buffs. And it's hard, like, she needs multiple buffs, and it's hard to know where to start. And they're probably not going to do it because she's a free to play that no one has. Not many people have Irisviel. Alright, away from the depressing stuff. What are the more fun casters? Izumo. And I have a quick bias is coming here. But this is for a good reason. There's a very good reason I have quick bias for her. Attack slightly below average, like off by 125, so it's not even that big of a deal. HP is also kind of low for a 3-star. But Izumo kind of embraces quick to another level. 0.8% MP gen. Almost at the caster 11%. Hit count average here. Good quick cards here. Or decent. They're decent. 30% quick and buster. 2 attacks 3 turns. Star weight ups crit damage to 100%. And if you crit this turn, you're putting a 10% debuff on that lasts for 3 turns. It's only 10%. This skill is slightly underwhelming, but if you're doing any kind of cooldown reductions, you can have good uptime on this. You are not popping your MP the turn you do this, though. It's very important that you don't, because you're reducing how much, because you can't, it doesn't work on MP. You have to be critting, so that means MP doesn't work, extra attack doesn't work. You need to be doing a full chain that turn, the turn you pop this, and you are doing massive crit damage. If you can do quick, 2 quick cards like Buster, quick, and you have both Ruler Skadi and normal Skadi like pop, you are doing so much damage. So much damage. Wilken, what's up? Third skill, targetable skill cooldown, 50% battery, and drop stars. So you do not have to pop this on herself. You can, though. It would make these cooldowns a little more manageable and get them in line with Skadi's. And then you can activate this a little sooner. I really like this character, if you can't tell. Arts buff with crit damage. Debuff success rate with crit damage. Stars return with crit damage. You should be leveling this so much. Like, you will be regretting it if you don't level this. She hits so hard. 10 hit single target quick MP that also reduces quick resistance, which is why she has this to help this stick. Just in case they have magic just a little higher chance. Best part, activates first. So her MP benefits from this greatly. Damage mod against demonic enemies. Which unfortunately is not a lot of servants. These are high priority targets though. You shouldn't bring her to fight Domin. She can at least do these type neutral. And I mean, Shuten shows up kind of often in events. Bitch was in an event. I can't remember which one recently. I think it was the Halloween event. I think that was the Halloween event that she showed up in, like, as a 90 node or a 90 plus. Like, she shows up, but not often. Koen Shaku had a challenge quest. 3 berserkers. So she's not getting the damage mod that often, but also, like, there are a lot of enemies that just have this. And again, if you're using her to just like one-shot something, like in a 90 plus, good chance they are demonic. So she can nuke, and then she'll refund good amount of refund back. Yep, and depending on how you're doing the cooldown direction, like this damage could actually get like really, really stupid for how much defense down you can put on her. Because it's only 5, if you have double Vitch and you swap in like a ruler Skadi or regular Skadi, you can do this back to back. But again, you want to be doing a full Brave Chain. So stacking this too many times is not the best idea. You pop this when you have a full chain and the stars to be able to crit. And luckily with Mighty Chains, you don't need as much setup. But it is painful that this is only on crits. I'm not gonna say it's not. They had to restrict this skill, otherwise it would have gotten really nutty. I really want to put her here because like she does, like even without the school cooldown stuff, like her with ruler Skadi, like they work very well. She gens enough stars to take advantage of the buster crits, and you might want to be doing BQB for those buster turns. It doesn't have to be a Mighty Chain. Mighty Chain just like ups your crit rate for it. Yeah, okay, so let me go over this justification. So she's quick caster. So the people that are, she doesn't have any competition from casters. Her main competition are single target quick berserkers. So X, which is not a fair comparison whatsoever. You cannot compare Izumo to X. X is like stupidly like broken when she gets her buff. She hits so hard. Tyra, who like she will hit harder than Tyra, and Tyra is meant for solos. The different use cases. They're in different use cases. And then alter egos melt. So unlike, or yeah, Bizet doesn't count. We're not counting Bizet in this. So it's really melt is her main competition that you'd be using her against assassins. Izumo should hit harder than melt, and melt's like MP buff removal is after damage, and melt needs ramp up time. Izumo like gets the bonus damage before damage. Yeah, and like they're really, she's probably one of the, she's looping not as easily as Sanzang, but she's still looping pretty well. Right. And plus, I think quick with ruler, like definitely without ruler Skadi, she would be here. But with ruler Skadi, they synergize very, very well. So much crit damage. Martha. 2 Martyr servants back to back. Let's go. All right. Again, not concerned up here. Decent refund, but again, kind of not concerned. Targetable buff, 20%, 30% attack. Sorry, 2k max HP and 20% battery. That is, the 20% is at level 1, so you are leveling this up for the higher attack buff. MP seal and defense down. Star weight 5,000%. This is what berserkers want. Drops 10 stars, so if they at least have 1 star, they're going to crit on it. Or you want them to only have 1 card, because then they will crit on it. 30% battery. Arts buff, debuff success rate, quick performance. It would be nice if she had a damaging MP. She doesn't. You'll have the coins for this, but like kind of this, just so you have more freedom with CEs. Like you can use I think there's a 3-star CE that has 50%. If you, depending on how high you level her skills, like you don't have to use a K-scope on her. So this is an esports unit. You are only bringing her up for boss fights. You want her to like die real quick to like cycle through buffs. Very similar to Nightingale, but she roids out your damage if you are fighting demon, divine, or undead enemies. There are no demon servants. They are very rare. We're going to see Dark Young in Halloween this year. The Collies, these are usually berserkers. So demons, when they show up, they show up. Not the biggest thing. Divine, on the other hand, is a lot of servants. This is a free damage mod at 50%. And then we have Undead, which is interesting because we have a servant on this list that forces people undead. Unfortunately, these are not different damage mods. So you cannot use Wu Zetian or Wu Zetian and then Martha and then get 100% plus damage. It's not how it works. These are all... if they are divine or undead, you get this damage mod. If they're both, you still get the same damage mod. It doesn't change. But it's at 50%. Divine's very common, so you can literally make a lot of servants just like pop the fuck off for a good 3 turns. Especially because this is like 50% attack with a damage mod, along with reducing their defense. And then a heal on top, but this is nothing. And then the stars are nice. And then she gives this as a Bonzi if you don't want to use this for esports. So you just give this for free. She's useful when she's useful. If they're not divine, most common use case, she's 50% defense and a 20% defense down. 50% attack, 20% defense down. That is a lot. But you're pretty much only using her in esports if the enemy is divine. If not, like, you're not going to be using her. Like, especially because her MP is quick. Oh. Okay. I was scared my PC was about to crash because the music just cut out for a second. YouTube, this doesn't matter, but stream, I thought my PC was going to crash again today. Yeah. Because her MP is quick, it means you are not doing like arch chains, which is unfortunate, but there did need to be a little more diversity with MP types because it can't just be arts. As much as this hurts her, like support MPs that are also quick does help quick servants. Lets them do quick chains. So they like if their star gen is weaker, like it does help. I'm not saying this is kind of the hit against her for her being like in a high, like actually ranked up here. So she is in extremely niche. You only bring her out when you're fighting divine, which at least of the niches to have, this is a really, really good one. Lily. I'm pointing this out. Low, very low, 3-star level attack and higher HP. That's what we're starting with. MP charge. I guess it matches the hit count, but this is still a little low. Like this is Shengong's. and she's not doing damage like Qinggong. 150% battery, which, hey, you just have to level this to 4, and then this is maxed out. So cool. It just sucks if you're MP1, this doesn't matter. Like, going to here doesn't matter. You just stop at 4. Unless you have the mats and just want to waste them. Not waste them, but like just use them for no reason. Other servants could use those mats, which... Okay, to be fair, her mats for leveling are not that hard. Like, just... If you stop here, you're probably good. Like, unneeded, but like, the cooldown. You'd be doing that for the cooldown. Which is already at 9, so slightly lower cooldown is better. This was a very, very useless buff. I don't know what they were thinking. How early was this? Ridiculously early. This is probably one of the worst buffs I've seen in this game, and it shows how early it is. That all they did was up the healing by 1,000. When like this is such a specific lore skill that is just like it's not used. It's not used. Healing received. Buff removal resistance for 3 turns. This would be awesome. But I gotta bring this up. Wait, it is buff removal. Yeah. Zufu does this on a battery. When you need it. Granted, this is like... This is better. 100% for 3 turns. Depending on the boss fight, you might need this more. But I'm not putting a servant into Extreme Leash literally just because of this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, her MP, debuff cleanse, buff, debuff resistance. I wouldn't be putting her in extremely niche just for this. But she has 100% battery at a very low cost for an easy party cleanse and like a decent heal. This is 4,000. Bonsi is healing received, which has uses with her. She can go 0 to 100 and she ups the healing receipt. She ups... Someone gets healed for 130% healing. And it's 1 turn. So that means this is not... For one ally, this is a 6k heal. And this is an 8k heal. Minimum. If you put the Bonsi on, this goes to 30%, right? I wonder if they did this on purpose. This goes up to 69k, 6.9k. Sick, dude. And then this base goes to 9,200 healing received, which that is close to what Kiara heals for. That's not nothing. She is leagues better than Irisviel, though. Leagues better. It's not even a comparison how much better she is. Especially because she got power crept by Asclepius. There isn't... I didn't think I actually was going to put her here, but she kind of needs to be. Because, like, what was it? Oh, Lost Belt 7 fight. I'm not trying to spoil, but, like, this would help you from not losing all your shit in that fight. greatly, especially if you're not killing all of them at the same time. If you're somewhat staggered, you're gonna want a buff like this because that fight is so annoying if you do not have like buff remover resistance. You do not want that fight to drag on. If you know, you know. I don't want to spoil everything in Lost Belt 7. All right, next up we got the Cock Wizard, the inventor of Hero Creation EX, which is enabling the hero to draw their sword. No jokes I do about the Cock Wizard is actually going to be new. This guy is a certified troll who thinks giving someone a dick, a literal functional penis, is a good joke. And then probably knew about what was going to happen afterwards. No, he did that knowing what was going to happen. He knew. Oh my god, that makes it so much worse. Like I don't think he knew how exactly it was going to go down with the whole Mordred situation, but he knew like Mordred was going to be her downfall. He is actively the reason like things went to shit. But that is a personality problem, not a gameplay problem. I just wanted to, talk about the Cock Wizard. He deserves respect for being a literal piece of shit. But he just smile if I said that and say, "Yep, you're not wrong." By human standards, I would be considered a piece of shit. And I wish Fu would literally beat the shit out of him until he goes back to Avalon. This costume is sick though. Like if you watched Carnival Phantasm, he's wearing this costume, which I think is pretty awesome. Refund is good. Like his card refund is not even something people talk about because he doesn't need cards refunding. He mostly gets by with Archchains and his own passive MP gen. Base 20% battery on his first skill. Common mistake people make is like leveling this skill thinking it ups the battery. No, it's just flat 20. Honestly, this is a little power crept at this point. I'm not saying this is the skill on Merlin that needs the best, like, the buff. But I mean, like, he probably would want this to be buffed. Like, I don't see them ever buffing Hero Creation. I don't see that ever happening. Maybe this, but like, even then, Merlin kind of doesn't need buffs. He's still really, really good. It's just not in the like go super fast. He is good for the stalling and the invincible comp. 6% arts, debuff success rate. Yeah, I probably should just go through this. Yeah, Invul, Star Gen for a turn, crit attack chance down, 50% Star Gen, 7 turns. Hero Creation, giving someone a penis. I joke. He doesn't actually do that in game, but I wouldn't be surprised if he himself makes that joke. And Merlin and Lady Avalon, and probably do it when Artoria is around just to try to get a reaction out of her. Which one? I'm not gonna say. Just an Artoria. Yeah, 50% Buster, HP, and 100% crit damage. Sucks that this crit damage is only for 1 turn, though, but it makes sense. He gets 5% battery each turn, or gauge each turn. So you stack it with his MP. He hits very good passive regen. When his MP is up, he gets 10% every turn. So if he gets hit, he gets good refund. I'm actually surprised they didn't like give him. If he had higher MP charge when he gets hit, he'd actually be like a lot more stupid than he already is. Yeah, so his MP is something people want to get buffed because when he was in Babylonia, the MP was like a lot stronger. Like the healing per turn, like this was an overcharge effect, and it was also a heal. So I think if they buff Merlin, it will be they give him the heal back. I like kind of swap it around. Like base is going to be a heal. Buster and crit damage when he's still on the field. He's not going here. It's here or here. And I'm feeling here. Because if you're using the invincible comp, you're not losing. Unless it's specifically designed to stop that comp. Which is Morgan, Merlin, and Castoria. Like his weakness is like every support buff removal. If you yeet off all the buffs, then you're out of luck. But I mean that's literally everyone. It's not Merlin. Yeah, so even without farming, he's still like one of the go-to servants for challenge quests. Even with Lady Avalon, I still want to say he still has his uses. He is more consistent than Proto Merlin. He's way more consistent. Because Proto Merlin has an even longer cooldown on her drain, and he's healing. She's giving max HP. Technically, one is better than the other. She is like a little more power creep Merlin, but he is just a staple. Yeah, and also if you need healing, like and not max HP, like you're getting ticked down, like Lady Avalon is not helping you on that. Yeah, she buffs her max HP. He gives you like battle healing. One is not necessarily better than the other in every single case. Miss Crane, you are here. Because out of all the support casters, like she is probably you need to know what you're doing when you use her. Her design looks sick. I really like it. Very low attack. Like even for this is I didn't even know there was another SR that had low attack. Oh wait, Kishu Wong, I think, but he's like also crit focused. Anyway. Yeah, she's close to Bunny Toria. Unlike Bunny Toria, I think Miss Crane actually does have the lowest damage for an SSR because casters have a negative modifier, rulers have a positive modifier on damage. So she might hit the lowest, but like you're not worried about carding with her. You shouldn't be worried about carding with Miss Crane. Low MP charge. And average hits. Okay, so first thing, if you do not have costume servants, you are definitely going to be suffering. You need costume owning servants, which they are adding a lot more, but this is not the biggest pool. It's not the biggest pool of servants. And if you're like me and I run my servants on like random costumes, you have to turn that off and set them to the costume if you want to use Miss Crane. You cannot be brainless when you use her. Up star gen, much like Caster Gills, not Gills, Gil. It's like Caskill. Same buff, except she's not getting it. 100% battery, damage to herself, and taunts all enemies to everyone else in the party except herself. So this is to either stall out when you're popping the MP, like again, I don't have her, so I don't have the most experience using her. I think skill order, because she's popping the invul for everyone else but her. So the turn you pop, like if you pop these back to back, they're taunted and they're gonna take damage, but they're not going to die on that turn unless they have Pierce Invul. So for some of those servants, if they don't have batteries, them getting hit by this might just give them the charge they need to MP the next turn. One servant star weight, 500%. It's not as high as like St. John's for arts cards, or Pope Joan. 50% crit damage like Waver. Insta-kill immunity for 3 turns. Damage sure self. And this is on a low-ish cooldown, but you're probably not double stacking this twice. Oh shoot, chat, I didn't even realize the music wasn't playing all this time. My bad on that. I forgot to reset this because of my PC crashing. So if I've been singing lyrics slightly, that's my bad. Arts buff, Star Gen, 30%. Her quick art is not the best, but I mean, yeah, like she's not getting this, but like 30% Star Gen is like nothing to scoff at. It just sucks that this is not a higher hit quick card. Party buff success rate by 10% while she's on the field. So this looks like a Bond CE. For servants that have Imperial privilege, this gets them a better chance of actually getting their buffs. So good. For Da Vinci, specifically, who's at like 85, this pretty much makes it like, if you miss the MP damage on Da Vinci, you just got super unlucky because that's a 1 in 25 chance. That's nowhere close to a coin chance. She has 100% battery, but you are not worried about. These are the last priority things you should ever think about. So even if she doesn't need this, hey, if you have this, you don't have to level this all the way up. You can stop at like 9 and not use a lore, and it really doesn't matter. Okay, so if you didn't know, plug suiting does not change, does not reset the deck. So if you plug suit and you knew you were gonna have a full Mighty Chain the next turn, she completely resets the deck. So if you have to think of differently about how you use her compared to other servants. You need to have 20 stars on the field when you pop this. So if you want to do this turn, if you want to pop her MP turn 1, you need to have 2 costume servants or already have stars on the field. Somehow, like someone drops stars. And if we go back to costume owning servants, she drops stars. She drops stars. She drops stars. She drops stars. Saito. You drop stars. Yes, you drop stars. And you also have a costume. Emiya just makes a shit ton of stars. Shisho does not. Arash doesn't. Melusin does. Big surprise. Buff Melusin. And it is exactly what you need. So if you have Melusin and you want to set up, you can. Like, give her even more stuff that she doesn't need. Nemo drop stars. Stars per turn, not drop stars. You drop stars. You definitely drop stars, but you're not the DPS. You drop stars too. Not sure about you. You don't drop stars. You get stars per turn. Morgan drop stars. So a lot of these servants you can use with Miscreant and like do super, super well with them. They can make this work. You don't need to have 2 costume servants. But you have to be very particular what servants you're using. She does not work with everyone. If you want her to work with more servants, you have to go through way more hoops. So I don't think this eats up the 20 stars. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. You just need to have them. First ally's attack is up 20%, up to 40 depending on MP level. We're sticking here. Ups their MP damage by 30% for 3 turns, so Oberon. And then that servant also gets 30% battery. And then she yeets herself to the last spot in your team. It is possible to do back-to-back Miscreants. It's just you are it's not optimal. She does not but as we see, she buffs crit damage, she buffs star weight, she does star gen, and she drops stars. She's a crit support. You can do some really crazy stuff with her. But she is also MP gen rate while she's on the field, 20%. And owned by 15. But she's not going to be on the field most of the time. They're like you have to be on top of using her. She has to be here. You have to be playing a very certain way to be using her. Otherwise, you're not getting the most out of her. All right. Last 14. This should be quicker. Miyu. Where are you, Miyu? Yeah, thankfully Miyu is not more lewd. As she ascends, like she gets way more wholesome, and I just think back to Oh Thunder Snow, and my God, was that such a good Fate movie? That was. It almost made me want to watch Prisma Illya. I say almost because I went through Prisma Illya and stopped the second Kuro showed up because I could not be watching that shit. She is basically Merlin. She is basically Merlin, especially when she gets her buff. Like the in-between her and Merlin, Miyu, and then Lady Avalon. That is the progression. Selfish arts buff. Selfish crit damage. I don't know why this is selfish. I think it's a lore thing. Guts to herself. Debuff immunity to self 1 time 3 turns. Targeted 30% battery with buff success rate at 40%. So she is not just Illya support. She is her any servant that has Imperial privilege. Ozzy, I think, does it better because his is AoE 20 and then the 40% buff. She's targeted. But for some servants that need this, like Cleopatra, Caesar doesn't have a battery. Nero, Ozzy doesn't need it because he can do it himself. Yeah, she's just good for that. She can guarantee those buffs, and if she dies, she dies. Debuff resist, 4% gauge every turn. Mana loading. Yeah, her MP before did 3,000 damage to herself. And healed for 500 at MP1. That is a joke. And then, unlike... Wait, yeah, her star buff lasts less time. And this is what this part does. They buff it later this year on NA. They give it a charisma. Oh, no, this ramps up. Sorry. Okay, so the reason this is weird, the higher copies you have of Miyu, the higher buff this is gonna give. Because this is gonna give her give the party 10% attack every turn. So up to 30% for one turn, and then it will slowly fall back down. Heals the party every turn for 3 turns. And then star buff. So she is a different variation of Merlin. And also the charge for the party is higher. I do believe, though, that I'm not sure if this stacks. I don't know if you loop your MP, you can double stack this. MP Gen while she's on the field. If you don't have Merlin, you can use Miyu. And you don't need super high investment. Her MP1 is the same. Yeah, like, their MPs are extremely similar. He just has everything lasting for 5 turns. Miyu's is 3 turns. So you don't need to pop Merlin's as much as her. You do need to have like good uptime on this. But she gets 30%. Yeah, like she kind of is Merlin. Like they're not interchangeable, but she can do very similar things to Merlin. So B. Murasaki. And just to check what I said earlier, has not gotten buffs. Okay attack, it's lower than average, but don't worry about it. MP charge, I think her rider has very similar numbers, and she's rocking double arch, double quick, so you should kind of be getting a good amount of stars. Not the most, but you should be getting some if you need carding refund. But she is a looper. She might not be a farmer, though. Probably wouldn't be that bad at it since she has a 6-hit art at MP, and her MP gain isn't that low. So, debuff, damage mod against demonic. And again, demonic is a lot of trash mob. It is not... Demon and demonic are, as we've seen earlier, 2 different mods. There are very few demons. There are a lot of demonic enemies. Like, just clearing through the story, you're going to see most of these enemies. Not that many demonic servants. But there are a couple she gets full advantage. So this is more catered to a boss fight. Seals 1 enemy's MP, 30% battery, 3 turns MP damage. You want mana loading. Gives you more freedom. This skill is pretty weak. I'm not gonna lie. This part is cool. If you need it, you need it. If you need it, you need it. This goes away too soon. 3 attacks of 1,000 damage cut. Yeah. I like these are fine being one time because it's not often that you actually need these for. I mean, yes, this you'd rather have it last for 3 turns, but this buff removal is like really rare. It is so rare for it to actually happen. Like there's like one enemy though, like in farming nodes, that like will eat everything off, but that's more you need to kill that thing in farming. Don't let it live forehead. Easy. 7% arts, debuff success rate, which she needs because she is debuff heavy. Not as heavy as her rider form though. 6 hit, damage to all enemies, buff block that does for 1 turn. This is I wish this was time. If this was time, she would be so good. She would be so good in boss fights. She would be so good at a boss fight if this was 1 time and she was an AoE arts looper. Because that, like, she's killing all the trash mobs, and then the boss is, like, not going to hit for anything. They're not going to get any of their defensive buffs, the offensive buffs. They're not going to get buffs in general. Like, debuffs will happen. Like, you can't stop that, but... power mod against, damage mod against demonic. She hits reasonably hard. She's middle of the pack for this. Without a buffed MP. I think with a buffed MP, she will be better than Scheherazade, who we'll talk about very soon. I feel like her refund would be better. Like, significantly better, because she has 6 hits over, like, 5 or 4. Like these two, 5 and 4. She is a little niche with the demonic, but demonic is, like, a lot of trash mobs, so I think it will come up often enough. But you're not the best. There's an arch looper that does it better than you. You at least have places where you're better, where you can be better. Right, so next one. All right, here is the premier Buster Farmer. Premier, that does not require Oberon. Now, Q-Caster, yeah, because there's no Q-Caster's not on this list, so I can bring him up at any time. As long as Q-Caster's damage is not better than Nero, you should be using Q-Caster. If you do not have Oberon, Nero will be better than Q-Caster. Their damages are not that different. Like, her damage is not that different to a big black rail Q-Caster. Q-Caster is just, like, way easier to set up and has, like, see, you're literally bringing Oberon here for extra damage. You're not bringing it because you need the battery. You're bringing it for the damage multiplier on yeah, brain fart. You're bringing it for the damage multiplier on MP damage from Black Row. Nero, right? Caster Nero can't do that, but her damage here is not that bad. It's not as high as other servants. They're like you look at the Buster, the Sabers, and they're like upper 2000s. She's just breaking it. Like most of the Sabers are monsters anyway. And same with the archers. Like, you level Q-Caster up to 90, he's hitting way harder than this. But you do not need Oberon. Your damage shoots up dramatically with him, but you don't need him to do Buster farming with her. also drawn by Wada Arco. This is peak Umu without her being like, without the most glaring see-through parts of her personality really showing. I mean, this is see-through, but this is also a bathing suit. So like it's not the Umu being more showing the Umu-ness. Here is low. This is low, but she's a Buster Farmer, so it doesn't really matter that much. But like, if you're not just doing pure Buster farming stuff, like you're also carding after, and like you don't plan on using Oberon, like this number being the way it is good. Decent refund, 6-hit on arts. That's what a Rush has. Just a little more conditional. So 50% battery is the first skill, and if HP is less than 50%, another, like, not another, 50% MP gen for 3 turns. Really, really, really hard to actually pull this part off. If you're Buster farming, this is A, a non-issue, B, and will never come up. But 50% battery is not bad. It can't be bad. This skill gives 30% attack, 30% of defense, and then she ignores class disadvantage. She will take normal damage from Riders, Berserkers, and Alter Egos. So not as far as Kama goes on her third skill, where she just gets full class advantage against Alter Egos. But this, she's doing normal damage to Alter Egos, so technically she can't be brought there. But she doesn't even have damage mod against them, which would be hilarious. Said it's rulers, which, not bringing her to fight rulers. Targeted guts and 50% attack. So if you pop this on her, she's double stacking a lot of attack. Unfortunately, this is where this is why her number isn't as high as it should be here. Like, she'd have 80% attack, but she can't double stack it. That's the issue. She cannot double stack this. This cooldown is like 1 too high. So in Buster farming, it's not going to come up. In esports, it will, because you might be able to bring someone in, or one of your Vitches dies, and you can bring Oberon in with, and then you have the Atlas Mystic Code to double stack. Because instead of, what is it? Instead of 110%, you'd be working with 160% attack buff. That is double stack. That is working with Oberon's buffs. AoE Buster ignores invul, damages all enemies, and gets MP damage with the MP. So this would also get multiplied up to 100% MP damage with Oberon. So both her Buster, and her MP damage and attack would all be well over 100 and... Okay, yeah. So this, and then the 15 from the Bunyan CE, the 130. Yeah, so all, like, attack, Buster buff, and MP damage would all be 130 plus, multiplying into each other. She does not have a buffed MP. We're back to casters. I haven't looked in this in a while. Very obvious. Most casters aren't really the most damage dealing. She's not the hardest hitting, but she hits pretty hard. Like, I can't put her in EX because Q-caster, but I'm not putting her lower than A. Because she is, if your Q-caster is not MP, if your Q-caster is not MP 5, which is a lot of people, Nero Bride is going to be better. Especially in a boss fight. You're not bringing Kucaster in a boss fight if it's not gonna die and if it's not gonna end in 3 turns. You're gonna bring Nero Bride. She is like, if they buff her, she's just gonna get like way better. I don't see them buffing Kucaster again. They're not buffing his MP again. They gave him a broken buff. They buffed his MP a long time ago. They're not gonna give him another buff that ups his damage. Nitocris, you are here. Ease of use. New accounts. Love Nitocris. You're here. So Nitocris is not up here because she doesn't function like other servants with refund. If you start her with a K-scope, it literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your all your stuff is. She doesn't care. Like, even if you insta kill, it doesn't matter. Like, unlike the assassin one, her having the insta kill is a benefit for her. Tack is good for a 4-star. 9,000 is what you want on a 4-star. She's not like 8,000. She would be way worse. The insta kill is like, you'd want more insta kill, if anything, if her attack was lower. Also, this costume looks sick. Or cute. Looks cute. She deserves Needle Altar. She deserved it. Yeah, we kind of don't care here, but her hit count is modern and looks good. Her refund is like similar to Castoria's, in terms of like having like base to base. This buff is coming, I think, Grail Front, Grail Live. Grail Live, we get this. So in skills, 100% up. Gives her an arts buff, so if she's not insta-killing, she is getting some refund. And the party heal is more than what wait, what do they do? Oh, okay, so they made the heal AoE and not self. Okay. Again, high battery. Stop at 8, and then you're good to go. Guts 1 time 3 turns, and debuff cleanse. And this is good uptime. Not Ushi Avenger uptime, but pretty damn close, which is what you want on a cleanse. Like, especially a cleanse tied to a guts. It actually is surprising that this is the uptime on the guts is as good as it is. And it's not a 1 HP guts either. This doesn't matter that much. If you do this, it opens up what CEs you can use. But if you want to mitigate all RNG, you kind of don't need this. Damage to all enemies, crit attack chance down 20% for 3 turns, and chance to insta-kill activates first. Normally, this would be an issue, but with Nitocris, you kind of don't care. You really don't care. Because you are brute force feeding MP into this girl. As long as you have double Castoria, she can 3-turn farm as long as she's doing enough damage. That's the key word, as long as she's doing enough damage. So MP1 Nitocris is going to be struggling on damage a lot. If you're using a K-scope on her, you're going to want that thing as high as humanly possible. If you're using a starting charge, you're definitely going to want mana loading, and you don't want mana loading, and you're also going to be wanting to pop Castoria MPs as much as possible to get that attack up. Insta-kill is not a meme with her. Usually, like, servants that have insta-kill proc first, they're bad. Aresh, Summer, Nitocris. She kind of just doesn't care. She really just doesn't care. If she insta-kills, cool. If she doesn't and kills, awesome. If she doesn't and doesn't kill, I hope you're doing enough damage on the carding. That is her weakness at MP1 is damage. She's A just because of ease of use though. If you just need someone to clear a wave, like basically she's Paracelsus except she's actually doing 3 turns. She's able to do 3 turns. Paracelsus just lacks in damage a lot more. Like even I think MP1. This is good damage though. I'm not gonna cap. Paracelsus can do like really good damage for 3-turn farming. Yeah, here. Nitocris. At base she does more damage than Paracelsus. So if you can force her to Black Rail farm, I would not recommend that though. If you try to Black Rail farm with Nitocris, you are gonna have to run through a lot of extra hoops. Because if she starts insta-killing when you don't need her to, which is more likely gonna happen because the first 2 waves is filled with trash mobs, you're gonna insta-kill and not be able to get the refund. Which is why she's not on here. That's why she's not on here. Art servants really aren't showing the super scope because it's just bad damage. Nursery Rhyme. This is the first Arts Looper that I got like super high copy. Or no, I think this is one of the first servants I actually got MP5. In Pope Jones' video, I joked that her refund is probably about the same as Pope Jones. So if you can loop with Nursery Rhyme, like you have everything to let her loop, you can probably do it with Pope Joan. I'm also talking from an MP 5 Nursery Rhyme that I'm used to looping with, not MP1. I'm pretty sure she has damage problems. Yes. She has the same damage problems. Like Pope Joan hits way harder than Nursery Rhyme, but Nursery Rhyme would get class advantage. But it'd also be against assassins. And she is not on this list because she has refund problems. Base stack is lower than average. Again, the deck. This is bad. This is okay. Self mod is a skill that is being buffed kind of often. So who knows, she might get a buff that ups her looping. But pretty much every servant that has this skill is getting it buffed. Like this is like half of them have gotten it buffed. Right? 6 servants. Yeah, 6 servants and half of them have gotten self mod buffed. So likely in the future, who knows what they do with it. Maybe they make her a better looper or a better DPS. Who knows? But this has nothing to do with looping. This has absolutely nothing to do with looping. So crit damage, 50%, star weight, what she really needs. Defense up 30% 1 turn, and then more defense for the rest of it. This is guaranteed. This you level 4. Debuff resistance. It helps she doesn't have it naturally, so just harder for her to go down, but most people aren't using her. 40% battery, HP, debuff cleanse. It is unfortunate because to do the type of looping you'd want, like Black Rail, you would at least need this maxed out and the penned. And then she doesn't have any offensive buffs here to help her looping, which is why her damage is so low. Oh, wrong screen. Yeah, it's why her damage is so low here. She hasn't gotten She has no offensive buffs. It's good that this battery has the debuff cleanse. I like that on Lartoria. I like it here. Good that she at least has something for refund. Get mana loading, opens up your options. I don't know why this is drain chance. It should be high, like it should be guaranteed. I wish this happened after damage, but it doesn't. I mean, before damage, it doesn't. It's after. Another reason her damage is so low. Yeah, low damage. You wouldn't really bring her to a boss fight. Her kid's kind of confusing right now. I think they need to buff self mod and like give her an arts buff or something to like solidify, because I know she's better in harder content. But why would you bring her? Like they're not bringing her for face card damage because it's not even her base attack. It's actually the same problem I have with Pope John, Johanna. Same problem. Her base attack is too low for her to be a DPS servant. It's not like her HP is super high either. So why would you choose her over like someone else? Yeah. You're here. I like brute forcing you to farm just because it's funny to see someone that is a looper and like forced to be farming. Almost done. Queen Sheba. Pretty much same attack. Slightly higher, close to the same HP. I think higher than, yep, higher than Nursery Rhyme. Good MP charge. This is what, like, close to what Artoria has. And then 3 hits on her arts cards. I'm bringing up Artoria just because they have the same deck, not because I'm actually comparing them. 3 hits on the arts, so if you can crit on them, your refund will be a lot better than you'd think. That's the thing. Trying to get crits on her, not the easiest thing. First skill, they recently buffed this. This is this is extremely recent. This came out last year. They fixed her charisma and gave her a 30% battery so she can start off stronger for DPS because she is a single target, not AoE. This was a positive. 100% crit damage for 1 turn, ignores invincibility for 1 turn. This is and isn't it's conflicting. You kind of want these on different skills because, like, if you have your crit damage with your invul, you want your crit turn to be like invul piercing, not your MP. So it really depends on, are your crits going to hit way harder than your MP, or do you need your MP to hit harder, like with a debuff or something. Third skill is 20% arts and buster. Why? Oh, and they're party wide. That's why. That's why they're 20%, because they're party wide. She doesn't. Her selfish stuff is this, and it's with crit base, not MP. 6 turn. Arts buff, magic resist. Get here, and you can start off battle with a 50% charge instead of a K scope for more damage. Single target arts, 5 hits, and you are neutering. So healing received, depending on the boss, this actually might matter because you can loop this. If the boss is known to be like healing stupid amount, like a ridiculously stupid amount, 2 Castorias and you're cutting it down in half, and then you MP again, and you just make it so they're not healing, or they're healing so little it's not an issue anymore. Because if someone's healing, like, this is basic math, if someone's healing 10,000 per turn, and you put this on this, Like down 50%. That's 5,000. And that, like, obviously the higher they're healing, the more of an effect this has. Like, say they're healing for 20,000 and you cut it in half to, or not 20,000, to 100,000, and you cut this in half. I don't think healing great is that common to see. Yeah, like status effects. Debuff, healing down. Okay, no, so I'd have to go here. Buffs. No, it would be debuffs. Healing down. Okay, yeah, I do not know how to search this correctly. Give me a sec, chat. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, hold up. So go back here, skill search, type. No, god damn it. Oh, okay, yeah, it would be here. All right, so healing dealt down. Okay, I don't know who this is. Is this not gonna tell? Isn't gonna say the servants that have this? I'm sorry, I was not prepared for this chat. I am not the most adept at navigating this site specifically. Okay, so let's try the skills. Nope. Man, okay, so I'm gonna have to mark this. I'm gonna have to do some like fancy stuff when I like cut this out because this is a lot of time I'm wasting on this. Oh my god. Okay, hold up.
All right, I'm not giving up on this chat. I need it for the context. Like, part of this is copium. I'm not denying this. Part of this is copium. Is this what I'm looking for? Oh my god, okay. Alright, no, I gave up on this. Okay. Okay, TLDR. Even without overcharge, depending on how much a boss is healing, this can completely neuter this, and you're like making it so they can't hurt you, and you do more damage to them. She is probably the only DPS that's actually going down here. The only DPS servant, because the only time you would need this is when the boss is healing so goddamn much that you can't, like, you literally can't deal with it. We look here. Single target. Queen of Sheba, she doesn't hit that hard, but at least she's not Medea. You would only be using her if you need her for the healing down. This is what I was trying to say, but I wanted more proof for it that like not many other servants can really do this. She's art. You can loop her MP. It's not like she has super abysmal refund. It is possible. She doesn't have low gain. She has very high gain, especially considering she's an art servant. Yeah. Again, sorry for that, chat. For taking forever on finding this. I should have given up a little earlier. All right, Scheherazade. Again, another servant I just made a video about. Upstairs. This is nerfed because of these and also her. It's mostly these. Her face cards. Her MP would be a lot better if her game was higher in terms of looping / farming. Decent hits here until we get to here. This skill helps is for more wave 3. Especially if you're using 2004, you don't really need to worry. She is the hardest hitting out of these. Oh, excuse me. She has the most multiplicative buffs, including a buffed MP. Oh, damn, do I have the hiccups now? I'm almost done. As long as you can loop the first wave 100% with the 2004, you are looking pretty good. Arts buff is nice. It sucks it's only one turn. That's the main complaint. You cannot pop this turn 1. Has to be 3 if you want good damage. Charm all males. And ups her defense 40%, 2 turns. This is very nice. She takes significantly less damage. Charm sucks its male, but I get it. Guts 1 time 5 turns gives everyone else a guts 1 time 2 turns, and neuters a king enemy's attack. She is more catered to being in a boss fight, but again, it's a niche thing. It has to be a king. Otherwise, Murasaki. Otherwise, Anastasia might be better. It all depends on the boss you're fighting. They're pretty interchangeable otherwise, if you're not caring about niches. Probably mana loading. Extra attack, maybe. NP. 20% for 1 turn, damages all enemies. And adds debuff resistance down by 50% one time, 3 turns. This enables her charm to almost always land as long as you pop the MP first. It is unfortunate these two are on the same skill, because if you actually do charm, they're not going to hit you, which is why this is 2 turns, not 1. And like also, if you don't charm, at least you're not taking as much damage. Significantly less. King enemy those that are assassins. A good amount. 7, no 8. Oh wait, no, I miscounted. 6. Yeah, 6. A lot of riders, just don't bring her to fight them. Type neutral, good amount of enemies. It's definitely is. If it happens, it happens. In mixed nodes, it's probably better than it looks. Bonsi is 100% debuff resistance, though. If you have this E, it doesn't matter if she doesn't have magic resist, because you get that as a bond. If they make it the cost less, they make it so if you're certain bond level, this becomes a passive or something. Who knows? She's looking pretty good. They all really are interchangeable. I just think these two have more use cases than Anastasia. But it is personal preference. The Anastasia could be A. I wouldn't move these two down. I could move Anastasia up. Yeah, we'll save that for later though. Almost done. Shuten-Douji. Caster. Definitely 100% a parody of all the magical tropes. What do you expect? It's Shuten. She did this on a whim. Average base attack. Actually, like, good for a 4-star caster. Like, really good. One of the highest. HP, low. Low-ish charge, but she has 4 hits on the cards, and then she has 3 of them. This is similar to Zenobia. It's just you're probably not critting on these, unlike Zenobia. So that's why the charge is a little higher. She's not likely to be critting. First skill, MP Seal. Crit attack chance down 3 turns at 50%. Arts, Buster, Star Weight for 1 turn. Really sucks. These are 30% for 1 turn and not 3 turns, but unfortunate. At least this is this is good. 20% attack and then damage mod against demonic enemies. Similar, actually a similar kit to Murasaki, like these two. They look similar. MP Seal, crit attack chance down, damage mod against demonic. Murasaki doesn't give an attack buff though. Arts buff, debuff success rate. This is important for this skill to stick. We don't have coins. She doesn't have a battery. She's a DPS, so I would say here if you even get the coins for it. 13 hit Buster MP. Oh, ignores evasion. There's nothing that can give you a damage mod against poison though, Sag. And the damage is here. So she hits like very, very hard. You can't see it here because it's being blocked by. Hold up, let me. Hold on. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Also, okay. So this is 76,000 damage. Far outperforms Sanzang. Like, if you're fighting a demonic enemy, straight up more damage than Sanzang. Problem is, you cannot run Black Rail with her. You can't. She does not have a battery. You could. You definitely could. But the problem is you're going to have problems with refund. While Sanzang can get away with Black Rail because she has such a good battery. She does not need to pop it on turn 1. She can get up to her MP and then pop her battery on the next turn. She's flexible. Shuten-Douji, not so much. Not so much. I think Illya is better than her, even with yeah. She matches Illya's damage for 1 turn. And then they both go back down to about the same. But Illya has more utility. So B. Even at MP5, you're not at the 5 stars levels yet. Sieg is S tier. He is EX. You want someone to do your arts farming Sieg with double Castoria, and it's a joke. It is a literal joke how good they made him. He was built to be able to loop without Castoria, and now Castoria is a thing. Base attack, low. You don't really care. If you really need it, just pop Castoria MPs. He can go 0 to 100 very, very easily. MP charge, stupidly high. Higher than other 3-hit arts MPs. Low hit counts here, not to worry about. You don't really care. First skill is 30% MP gen, like Castoria. Max HP, cool. No one really cares. Arts Puff, 1 turn. When you need it. This can be either for refund or damage. Just depends on you. Damage mod against dragons, 1 turn. 30% battery. We don't get independent action. Cool, he has this. And this is a definite lore thing why he has this. Arts buff, debuff resist. At least he has a passive arts buff all the time. We don't have coins for this. If you could get coins, level up this. You won't regret it. AoE 3-hit deals damage to all enemies. It's here. And defense gets lowered. Procs first, lasts for 3 turns. So boss, if you just need to spam or farming, he can do both. While he's on the field, MP gen and MP damage. So if Black Rail, you're killing fine, but your refund is somehow not enough, put that on and it should fix it. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you absolutely need it, it is there. And as we can see, his turn 1 damage is almost this close enough to these turn 3s. And his turn 3 is a good amount higher. You're probably not gonna run into refund problems with him. If you don't compare, if you like Space Ishtar, Sieg kind of does the same type of looping stuff, the same kind of looping numbers, except probably refunds better. Space Ishtar has the value of high attack. Same with Sieg. If you want him to do better, level him. And remember, these numbers are when he's level 80. These are at level 90. So if you level the gap, his turn 1 damage actually does. I think it does start passing these turn 3s. Probably not Scheherazade, but Anastasia or Murasaki. I think it's very, very possible that with actually, does it say? No, it doesn't say level 90, but we can assume it's 9,200 something. So gets it to the normal 4-star value. And probably would he'd probably go up pretty well. He is EX. If you want an arts farmer to actually loop for against assassins, he's the best guy for the job. Wuzation is gonna go next. It's extremely niche. Because she enables Shisho to hit her full damage mod, which before, like, all the years Shisho was out in the game, she was never able to get the full damage. Now, if you use Wuzation with Shisho, she hits the hardest in the game. This is, granted, this is one turn, but her MP is a tactical nuke anyway. If you're trying to one-shot someone, this is what you should be using. Attack, higher than average for casters. Also, she looks so goddamn good. Thank God they didn't make her a child. Thank God. She is just like... It's not even that I know she's supposed to be 18 or older. Or actually, is she? Because we're thinking like ancient China. Yeah, okay, well, wait a second. What year? Like, this is a lore thing. Because that is, like, she might... when did she become Empress? 40 years. Through others, and then... Yeah, I don't believe for a second that this form is 18 plus. I think this is summoned before she became a consort, but she has all the memories. Yeah, thank God. So thank God they didn't make her a child. Harada Takehito. Their first time? Yeah, so Benny Emma's artists. Their first time making a teen character, and they make her so good. Charge, good for considering the hit counts. Above average quick. Attack buff, party buster buff, MP gen. Good values. Good values with ruler Skadi taken into consideration. Reduce enemies MP or drain against all enemies. Guaranteed. Damage mod against undead. Very, very nice considering her kit. And MP battery to the party, 20%. She can do double Oberon. It's just not good damage. Yeah. This is piss poor damage. Holy shit, that's bad. Yeah, this is why people don't show. This is why double Oberon isn't shown on the site. Because, like, I know Wu is like hitting even lower than the others. Like, if you want her to do good damage, you need her. You need to have higher copies, at least to turn one. Like, as you can see, the damage goes up exponentially. Or not no, that's not exponential growth, but exponential curve it is. Stuns all undead enemies. Covers HP. Party cleanse. A lot of things against undead. Turns people undead. That's why. So she enables people to have undead niches, which also includes Ibuki-Doji. Since she has a damage mod against undead too. So it's not just Shisho. Ibuki-Doji also gets buffed by the servant. Like one of the most monstrous buster crit servants gets buffed by her. Arts buff, debuff success, immune to mental debuffs. Nice. I don't think these matter, honestly. Most of the time, it's esports you're using her for, but not full esports. But she can do good damage. She has a damage mod against man attribute and MP damage. She has a lot of things multiplying together. This happens after damage, which she's support. You're bringing her for very specific people. Damage mod against undead enemies and MP gen as long as she's on the field. She's here in extremely niche. Oh, wrong one. She's here in extremely niche. Because, yeah, she can enable people to have a damage mod. She can enable her own damage mod. But for most servants, it's like, well, other servants can also do this. Like, use cases, these two would actually be used in very similar situations. She can just make it so you can do the extra stuff. You bring Martha if you already can do it. But you can use her to enable her. It's just you're bringing, it's more, it's a lot more extra steps. Last three. And we're just going to rapid fire. Skadi is EX. Tamamo is A. Waiver, if there was a plus, he'd be in plus. But you're at high A. Let's start with Skadi. I don't think, like, this one is probably, people would be considering putting her in A because of Ruler Skadi. She is not being directly compared to Ruler Skadi. They are different in what they can do. Decent attack, not the highest, not the lowest. HP is high, though, which, considering the amount of survivability she gives, it's good that she has high HP. She looks so good. Shisho as a mommy. MP charge, good. She's a caster that can gen a lot of stars, has like good hits and everything. If you need to get to her MP, when you don't have like buffs, you can use her face cards and she might get an MP in the turn, especially in a mighty chain. First skill is what she's most famous for. Quick, 50% quick up, 100% quick damage. It makes any quick servants, quick cards, like slap. Like do more than MPs do. %30 defense down, crit attack chance down. It's not great in farming, but on a boss fight, this is great. You neuter their defense. Other supports do not provide debuffs like this because A, it can be resisted. B, it just doesn't happen. Block 50% battery. Arts buff 12%. Debuff success rate 10%. Goddess essence 25%. Level this simply because she's a support, and like if you need her to loop with Karen, you need this. Otherwise, Karen is not functioning as well as she could. They buffed her MP to make her more comparable to Castoria and other meta supports. Didn't fix the problem though. I would have preferred this getting buffed, but at least they did something. 20% attack for 5 turns. Crit damage up, 3 attacks, 5 turns, 50%. Evasion, 1 attack, 3 turns. Insta-kill immunity, 1 time, 3 turns. Damage cut, this is like nothing. But at least it's like there's no timer on it. It's just 3 turns, not hit based. So ideally you'd want to put her at the end of the chain or like somewhere in the middle, just not at 1. But it depends on who you're using her with. And then this also helps with farming. If you are not using like bond CE stuff, this helps. This 20% on your main support for buffing quick is here. You buff them, they loop a little bit easier. They might hit the 50% threshold. Multiplicative buffs are how this game works for higher damage. If you're just roiding up on buffs, you're not gonna hit you're gonna get diminishing returns. It's why servants like Daiko specifically that are getting the quick res down, their damage can explode so much that even if their damage is low, or their normal damage would be low, it can change really quick without messing with much. The quick res will stack with the defense down. They are different defense downs. The more different buffs you have, the better. So a servant that loops and gets quick performance up actually benefits less with OG Skadi. Ruler Skadi, it's a little different. You do want the buffs to like stack up, but you still want multiplicative buffs. It pains me to put my waifu in A instead of EX. It really does pain me. But if you are using Tamamo in farming, you need to use Plug Suit. You can, for most servants, they don't need MP damage and an arts buff. They need the MP gain that Paracelsus, Asclepius, Zufu give. They are better for farming. She can help servants loop 100% MP damage, arts buff. They are looping way easily. They're hitting overkill way easier. Servants that are infamous for needing black rail work well as with Tamamo being the sport because it lets them hit the overkill they actually need. Where like our MP gain might not be enough. They might need the overkill. May or may not. Yeah, this one is going longer than I want. I'm glad this is almost over. Because I would like to puff soon. Yeah. This is great. This is okay, but it doesn't really contribute. This needs to get buffed to do something for the party. Because this being the one selfish thing she has is not. It helps her stay alive, but it needs to do something. And then heal. We don't really care about the heal. It's more the arts buff. Arts buff to help her refund. Get this as any support. Unless you're doing DPO Tamamo, you don't need this. 2k heal, 25% battery, but it's more of the time it's like 31 or 37.5 based on where you put her on the chain. Most important part, she reduces skill cooldowns in an MP spamming setup. You want to spam this as much as possible to get the cooldowns downtime as low as possible. Oh yeah, it also depends on you just look at the skill. If you look at these 3 skills, you know it's Tamamo. You don't even have to read this. You just see drain, defense, arts, and it's Tamamo. Damage round against Moon Cancer is funny. And then Bonsi is just flat out arts buff. Which, if you are using her as a plug suit support to help art servants get overkill, this is good. It will also help the refund. But problem is no battery, no AP gain. If she gets either of those things AoE on this skill buff, she goes the EX. But not right now. Only selfish skill she has is this one, the defense one. Yeah. Shapeshift is a skill that has been buffed at the lower ranks. So this is a skill that might get buffed. Osaka, I think they gave her crit damage. Yeah, they gave party crit damage. And for all these other servants, let's see. Max HP, debuff immunity. We just talked about Edison. Targetable defense. Kyo. Yeah, they really can do anything about it. I think they're gonna do either battery or MP gain. I'd put more money on MP gain though, since she has battery on MP, and it can get higher and higher depending on your overcharge. No, because you're not gonna. It's because she's in an art spamming team, so unless you're using cast skill specifically, they're not gonna be getting many stars. I'd rather her lean into like spamming MPs than try to make her like do something she wasn't intended for. You still won't need a Merlin. I mean, like most art servants aren't crit based. They don't need the crits, but there are arts crit servants out there, and we have Pope John for them. And for Pope Johanna, you would be using Tamamo anyway because her cooldowns are too high. Same reason you'd be using Tamamo with Lady Avalon. The cooldowns just get too high that you need Tamamo to help reduce it. But you still need a Castoria there for protection. But I mean, if you're doing DPS Tamamo, that's a different story. And then like you're really doing some like funny shit. DPS Tamamo has so many options for her polygamous castration fist. It is something to be feared. Wait, isn't that no, wait, hold up. Yeah, it can be free to play friendly. It's you pay to use more different servants and like see big numbers, but you don't need to pay. Like you really don't need to, and like the free to plays they give are like some of the best servants in the game. Like on here, like he is one of the best arts looping servants in the game. She's very solid. She is like an enabler for like super high damage. She's like the first, so she gets put to the wayside. Like she like literally the first welfare. If you're starting on JP, no. If you're starting playing on JP, no. But if you play on NA server or global in your own language, you can understand it better. If you can't read Japanese, you're gonna have to be like married to a site like this to be able to read what their skills do, because skill order matters. And last but not least, Waver. He's an A simply because he's jack of all trades and doesn't fit with any card type specifically well, unless you're doing like stall stuff. Like he shines in stall teams. But his kit is very outdated. Like upstairs, this is low hits on here, like abysmal hits. Mostly getting his refund from Arch Chains. They had to completely redo his skills because they were that bad at launch. So it's not even known if he's gonna get a buff on these skills, because technically he already got a buff for all of them. And they just gave him batteries on all his skills, and I think upped the numbers for some of them. Yeah. You can put him like with anyone. You can get him on the free-to-play ticket. And he will help carry you through the game. But is he absolutely the best out of all of them? No. He's not the best for any of them. And even for a lot of challenge stuff, you choose the more specific card type, and Reigns, however you want to pronounce her name, really depends. Sima Yi, she kind of does the challenge quest better than him at this point. So he does need something. The chance to stun is nice, but it's not guaranteed, and it's like a coin flip. He does enable curse memes, and this defense down isn't nothing. I talked about how not many other supports do debuffs, like defense down. It's him and Skadi. She does it on a skill, he does it on MP. His is slightly more spammable. Oh, no, his is more spammable. What am I talking about? But if you're using his MP like this, you're giving up damage somewhere else. While Skadi is also giving a lot of damage. Bootleg Vich. Yeah, like if you have a Koyanskaya, you pick a friend Koyanskaya, your Koyanskaya, as long as your DPS is 50%, you can just pick the waiver you chose from the ticket on JP, or what we're about to get in 6th anniversary in 4.5 months. He's not like, he's good. He's absolutely good. You should pick waiver before you pick Tamamo on the ticket. Waiver is a better servant than Tamamo, but waiver doesn't break the game for you. But for a new account, if you don't have Castoria, use him, Castoria, and then you plug suit in any of the other 3-star free-to-play art supports, Paracelsus and Zufu especially, and you're still looping. You don't need 2 Castorias with him and Zufu. You don't. Pretty much do the same job. Alright, I think this was even longer than the Rider tier list, honestly, which kind of sucks, because I want these to be shorter. But, oh well. Does anyone have problems with this? Does anyone have servants they think are too high or too low? Speak now or forever hold your peace until next year. Yeah, again, we don't have servants that are like super bad and uphill. Like, all these servants have a use case. Like, if this was a Genshin tier list, there'd be way more servants at the bottom. Or, yeah. Like, FGO just tends to be more top heavy. Yeah. I think we're good for right now. If you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like or a sub. And if you're feeling really generous, give me some feedback on the video in the comment section. I am very much looking to improve in the coming months as the channel continues to grow. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.